Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rayge, and we are back today with a huge update in regards to Arena. But more importantly, if you guys have been catching my recent videos as of late, I actually unlocked Gorr fully power cores yesterday, brought him up, and now we have been testing him, and I got some gameplay footage to help you guys hopefully utilize these new teams. But now that has cemented my placement once again in the top 10. Why is this important, ladies and gentlemen? Well, because we want to keep on milking the 500 power cores per day. Now that we got Gladiator unlocked, Gorr unlocked, we're in saving mode once again for Endgame Thanos. It's going to be expected to be released next week. So very similar to the video I made last week on Gladiator. In today's video, I want to talk about how Gorr is going to be shaping up my meta team for Arena, because now we're seeing a shift with different characters actually in and out of the lineup. This addition of Gorr is now going to be adding an infusion, an element here of where we have to choose our best 5, and depending on the matchups, there's going to be some countering opportunities. So that's really what I want to demonstrate for you guys. Now, the real value that Gorr the God Butcher does bring in for him respectively is the fact that he can cancel out some of the more notable characters in the game, such as Old Man Logan. And by countering, I don't mean that he's out of the lineup. I mean that he's not going to be as effective in the team dynamic. So that's why it's important to understand the matchups and which characters are going to be in and out when you're doing said lineups, right? So we know that with this passive ability here, what's important is that whenever there is a kill on the team, Gorr is actually going to be activating his passive here with the special that implements. This only initiates the moment there's an enemy that falls. On top of that, in Arena specifically, he does actually prevent any Annihilator characters from gaining bleed, and on top of that, lowering the assist chance of all enemies by 100%. This is very notable against a character like Old Man Logan. And sorry, let me show you right here. The on-spawn gain charge, okay, and then on any turn, if this character has 4 or more charges, attack the most injured enemy, summoned enemy, ignoring the taunt stealth with his special. So basically, he uses a special as long as there's 4 charges, and the charges can be added upon the death of an enemy. So just something you want to be mindful of in the mechanic, because that's going to be very important when we're going through the gameplay footage. Now, having said that, the other 3 or 4 characters that you may want to consider that's going to be in so far right now until we have Endgame Thanos and the rest of the Annihilators is Apocalypse, is one of the top meta characters right now. Super Scroll is may or may not be on the team. We also have Black Knight. So those are the 3 important lynch pieces in my honest opinion. On top of obviously Gladiator and Gorr, and as well as Old Man Logan, if I've not touched on him already. He's going to be also used here. But I also want to point out, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have Mephisto unlocked, so we won't be doing any gameplay with him specifically. But I do have a feeling that once we have the full Annihilators team, including Thanos, I do think that there's going to be some counters against Mephisto, so I'm super excited about that. But without further ado, let's jump into the footage. In the first gameplay, I'm going to have it against the old meta, which includes just Gladiator, and I'm also going to have a lineup here against countering specifically Gorr now that he's included in this Arena mech. So let's get right to it right here. Okay, so here we go. In the first lineup here, we are actually going to be going up against a non-Gorr team. Again, this would have been last week's old meta. And you can see the odd placement here for us is that we've actually taken out Black Knight. He's no longer going to be used on offense now. You want to start things off with Gorr's ultimate. This is where his speed comes in, because he usually will be the first character to go first, especially now that we haven't included the lineup against a non-Gorr team. And you can see with his ultimate right from the get-go, it actually removed Black Knight's charges. I've noticed that sometimes it lands or doesn't land if it's a 2 or 3 diamond Black Knight, so that's something to be mindful of. That is unfortunately a star check, and as well us only having 2 Annihilators on the team. Now you want to do what you normally would be doing, which is focusing in on Gladiator at the beginning, because we wanted to make it so that his HP is low enough that when we activate our Apocalypse ultimate, it's going to actually proc. So you can see Old Man Logan still very valuable for us on offense, because we used him to shut down their Black Knight. It doesn't really matter because he didn't have charges, but now we can go ahead and use our APOC ultimate, and right from the get-go we can finish off the Old Man Logan just like that. That's how silky smooth this can be now, ladies and gentlemen, with this team up against a non-Gorr team. There's no longer that, you know, that coin toss up in the air whether or not you're going to be winning against a non-Gorr team. Indisputably, they're gonna completely walk over this. As you can see, we're fully healthy. We're just completely rolling over this team that used to be in the meta. And that's why it's so crazy. Each and every one of these characters add their own little dynamic. Hopefully this is insightful for you guys. But yeah, this is up against, again, a non-Gorr team with Gorr completely walking over them, and this is what you want to be aiming for against those folks that do not have him unlocked just yet. In the next lineup here though, however, we are going to be going up against a Gorr team, so that way you can see in retrospect. Okay, so for this one here, it took me a little longer to find the right teams because not everyone has Gorr yet. But yeah, I found this one. I like this matchup right here. Now, the only difference is I've actually opted to take out Super Scroll now and add it in Black Knight. I recommend doing this when you're up against another enemy that actually already has a Gorr and an Old Man Logan as well. Reason being is, check this out. We can use the ultimate right now once again, and it removes their Gorr's charges as well, and then their Gorr is going to reflect it back at us. But the difference is that we actually have Black Knight additional protection, so I recommend this lineup better because then we can use an additional taunt. That way their enemies may have to get through Black Knight instead of Gladiator, and we can still do our normal thing, which is focusing in on their Gladiator first. Now, hopefully at this point then, if you're up against this non-Black Knight with Gorr matchup, you can use then your Old Man Logan special once again. So Old Man Logan still proving very, very valuable on the offensive side. We may see him get shifted out in the meta in terms of defense, but so far he's still been very, very useful on the offense, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what I wanted to make clear, because I know I made videos on how you know, Gorr obviously is a counter to Old Man Logan, but it's just in the dynamic, right? You can still use them as part of the team, so as long as you understand the little nuances of what they can provide. And now we can focus in on Gorr, clean them up. Our Apocalypse finally gets a turn because their Gladiator prevented us from having the immediate response right there. And then cleaning up their Old Man Logan, boom, boom, boom. You can just see how straightforward this lineup is, right? Up against this matchup, it's a no-brainer. You want to keep Black Knight, so that way you get that additional protection, and you can see how easily we're just walking through even this Gorr team up against some meta tunes. I think the odd man out might be Super Scroll now for the offense side, as you can see. And I'm not sure what happened with the visuals there. Super Scroll looks a little smaller than he should be, but anywho, at this point then you'll just be left with Gladiator and Super Scroll, and it's going to be super, super easy because at this point now we're Black Knight's getting charges back again. He's going to reflect them back at Super Scroll, so it's honestly just once again buttery smooth gameplay here that we can get into a counter. And yeah, it's all thanks to, once again, the addition of Gorr on this new Annihilators team. So this is how I'm going to stay now back in the top 10, ladies and gentlemen, milking those power cores. Hopefully this is helpful. Let me know what you guys are using below. I'm curious which lineups, but again, we haven't had a chance to test this out against any Mephistos because I don't think they're going to last. So if you're in an arena bracket where there's a lot of Mephistos, then you may just be a waiting game until the full team is here. So hopefully this is helpful. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.